Start. Wait for you guys.
Oh, okay.
All right. Hey!
On today's Glory Days show, wrestler Hulk Hogan is fired from the WWE after a tape surfaces with him making racist comments while he's out stooping the wife of radio DJ Bubba the Love Sponge.
And his comments were so offensive that the WWE expunged his image and all mention of him from their website. But we found a former physician that worked with Hogan and all of his friends from the WWE during their heyday here in New York, Stu Horowitz, and he'll join us via phone to talk about it.
And even when nothing is going on, Deflategate still continues to make news. We'll update you on what is not going on now in a real-life story about nothing.
And in our Did You Hear About segment, our favorite kidnap victim, Australian golfer Robert Allenby, fired his cabbie in the middle of a round at a PGA event in Canada. And who says it never rains in California? These stories and more as the best hour of your sports week is coming up on Glory Days right now.
eatradio.com.
Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, July 25th, 2015, and you are watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discopani. This is my good friend, Bruce Oler. And Eric Mikhailov and Bonnie Schultz behind the glass today. And you are joining us on the NRadio TV network, broadcasting live from Studio C in the great state of New York. Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
It's a beautiful day, man. I tell you, last week we were in that heat wave. Today it's a beach day. You know, the last 3 days have been like just beautiful days, man.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's the kind of thing where you say, you know, people say, oh, what are you still doing in New York? There's so much taxes. I often question myself what the hell we're still doing here.
Yeah.
You know, when we can go to like North Carolina and live like kings.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know my nephew, or Chris's nephew, was telling me he's the last few years he's gone out to visit some friends out in the Ohio area in Cincinnati, and he just tells me that basically, you know, the house that he lives in, you know, if he sold it, he would be living in a mansion if he turned it around.
But you know what? Today is one of those days. I guess it's like golf. You know, you play golf and you know how bad you are. You're just terrible. But you hit that one or two good shots.
Yeah.
And you just keep coming back.
But, you know, you mentioned taxes. I mean, it's one thing that the weather is nice. I mean, it's another thing if you're still paying taxes.
Taxes don't change.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. There's no different season for that, you know.
So it's been an interesting week.
It has been.
Sports.
It has been.
You know, a lot of things happening. And last night, the Mets finally made a trade last night. And the Twitter universe and Facebook and especially a former colleague of ours here, Mike Ferrara, so upset over the Mets trading that they didn't do anything. And, you know, in a way, I agree with him that.
Well, it's not a major move that they made.
No, but it's not a major move.
But it addresses, I think, an issue they have right now. I mean, like you say, you look at that lineup and you see they had their third and their fourth and their fifth batters. Yeah. We're all hitting under 200, you know?
Under 200. It was, you know, they had two guys. The fourth guy, Eric Campbell, was hitting 170 something. The number 5 guy was hitting 172 or something.
Yeah.
And they actually had a position player who was in the lineup who was batting less than Bartolo Colon. Anthony Recker was batting 139, and Colon was batting 147.
Yep. So the
That to
Mets,
me,
they
you know,
got...
they talk about the Mendoza line.
Yeah, they say
it should
that's
be
the-
the Cologne line. Because if you are batting less than Bartolo Colon, you should be embarrassed.
That's right. That's right. So, like I say, it was not any major move. They got Juan Uribe and what's Johnson's first name?
Kelly Johnson. He used to
Kelly
be on the
Johnson.
Yankees.
Yeah,
Kelly
okay.
Johnson was on the Yankees. He started out the year on the Dodgers and then was traded probably in May,
Right.
I think, to Atlanta.
He's supposed to be a good clubhouse guy, at least that's according to Justin Turner, the ex
And do you
Met.
realize he's a utility guy? He plays like 5 different positions. He's got 9 home runs.
Yeah.
He's got 9 home runs and 34, 35
Yeah.
runs batted in.
Yeah.
The other guy, Uribe, granted he's 36 years old, but he's third baseman.
Yeah.
What do we need? We need a third baseman. We need someone who can play third.
Yeah, it wasn't, like I say, it wasn't a big splash move.
No,
you know,
no.
they hardly give up anybody too in the.
No, they gave the 2 guys that they gave up. I don't know if you have their names there, but the 2
can
guys that
find
they
it.
gave up are one's a single A guy, the other guy's a double A guy.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if there's one thing that apparently we have a lot of, it's pitching.
Yeah.
You know, but these 2 guys, are they going to change the world? No, they're not going to change the world. But you know what? It certainly is going to make it much better on that bench. You're replacing Campbell and you're replacing Danny Munoz. Come on. When both of those guys came up, what were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking much.
There you go. You're not thinking, gee, this guy's got a chance to hit one.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the Mets are in kind of a free fall right now. I mean, we knew they had 10 tough games coming right out of the break. They were playing all three first place teams, but they're 2-6 right now.
So you know what? We need to do something quickly. And I hope those guys are getting there today.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Getting in today.
I
I'd
hope
like
so,
to
too.
see them in uniform.
And they brought up Michael Conforto too, and they put Kadire on the 15-day disabled list, retroactive
You know
to
what?
the
And that's
22nd.
another difference between the Mets and the Yankees. Okay, we've been stringing along Kadire now for almost 10 days. Okay, the Yankees, if you're hurt, they put you on the DL immediately. Immediately. Why? And they asked Joe Girardi. He says, "Why would I play with 24 guys?"
It's true.
You know, and what do the Mets do? The Mets, this guy's hurt and this guy's that. They already have a weak bench. Now you're going to have 1, sometimes 2 or 3 players that are unavailable.
Yeah.
So it's just a philosophy thing.
So wasn't a bad move. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's still. I mean, what is it? The trading deadline is the 31st, I guess. Friday.
Yes,
You
yes.
know. So there might be some other moves coming up. I mean, actually, our friend Mike Ferrara said we should be skewering Fred Wilpon.
Well, you know what?
I'll give him
I'm going
that.
to give them another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I give them 2 more weeks. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? All right. Change subjects here.
Let's do that.
Quickie before we go to break.
A quickie. Ooh. Okay.
You remember that Seinfeld season where NBC wants to do a pilot called Jerry?
Yeah.
And George pitches the idea about a show about nothing? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what this entire saga of Deflategate feels. There's nothing going on as everyone waits for Commissioner Roger Goodell's decision after hearing Tom Brady's appeal for his 4-game suspension way back on June 23rd. But yet, Deflategate
Yeah, I mean,
was
what's
in the
taking
news
so
again.
long, man?
Well, it's obvious that the NFL is going to take their time on this one, okay? They're going to need to make sure that it's designed, it's vetted, and it's written to withstand Brady's appeal, and he will appeal, okay? Brady's not interested in any decision that involves his suspension, and he'll challenge it in court. But if he does do that, and he's granting an injunction, he could play in the games until the court hears his case and the final decision is made. Of course, but if the final decision involves a suspension,
He's out immediately.
he's out immediately.
Yeah.
It could be in the middle of November, or who knows? And what if it doesn't get heard until January and it's a playoff game?
Yeah.
Right? Goodell is under pressure from the other owners to maintain Brady's original punishment. But the fear is that the entire 4-game ban would be nullified if ruled on by a federal court. But this week, there was talk that the NFL Players Association was offering an out-of-court settlement to the NFL. But so far has been met with nothing but silence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Much ado about nothing here.
When asked what he might expect, when we might expect a decision on the appeal, Goodell, and he had previously said it would be shortly,
Whatever that means.
revised his answer to say there is no timetable. And we want to make sure we have a fair and open process. So,
You know, it's almost like a scorched earth policy. Now, you know, when the suspension was originally announced, Ray Kraft, right, the owner,
Right,
I mean,
Kraft.
he had the option to basically sue them in court, and he decided not to. It was
Right.
better for the league. So I don't understand why he can't get his guy under control and say, just, you know, don't sue the NFL.
because he's Brady is everything that we thought he would be.
Yep. Which is what?
We're just getting started here on the Glory Show. Right after a short break, we'll talk about Hulk Hogan's racist rant that not only got him fired from his gig as a spokesman for the WWE, but had every reference to his illustrious career wiped from the organization website and the historical records. What did he say and what happened? We'll have a discussion with one of the WWE physicians that knew Hogan and the rest of his cronies while they were at the height of their popularity. And later on, we'll have a few stories in our Did You Hear About segments that I bet you didn't hear about. Stay with us. You're watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the Enravio TV network. We're coming right back. Short break. Stay there.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Enravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Enravio.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Enravio TV network. Vince McMahon and the WWE have severed all ties with iconic wrestler Hulk Hogan after two publications reported that he had been videotaped using racially offensive language. The WWE terminated its contract with the former Terry Boella and then scrubbed all references and images from the Hulkster from their website. Both the National Enquirer and Radar Online published transcripts from a 2008 sex tape of Hogan using the N-word liberally and making racist comments. That tape is currently the subject of a $1 million invasion of privacy lawsuit Hogan brought against the website Gawker, which published part of the tape video back in 2012. Hogan said in a statement that he resigned from his contract with the WWE because he used offensive language 8 years ago. He said it was unacceptable for me to have used that offensive language. There is no excuse for it, and I apologize for having done it. A transcript of the tape audio was leaked on Friday morning where Hogan is referring to blacks in a derogatory way and admitted that I am a racist to a point. The transcripts are from a sex tape that Hogan made while having sex with the wife of Tampa-based radio shock jock Bubba the Love Sponge. I wonder what his wife was called. They include a private discussion Hogan was having regarding his daughter Brooke's business and a personal relationship with whom he describes as a, quote, black billionaire who apparently had offered to fund her budding music career and the billionaire's son. The text of the transcription is incredibly racist. We're not going to show you the text. If you want to go really see what he did, you could. There's 100 websites where you can go. It involves Hogan questioning his daughter's relationship with the billionaire's son, and basically said that if she was going to be doing that, she should be doing it with an 8-foot-tall basketball player who was making millions of dollars. And then he says, "I guess we're all a little racist." I don't know if we're all that racist. That started the ball rolling, and the WWE fired the first shot, terminating his contract. They said the WWE is committed to embracing and celebrating individuals from all backgrounds, as demonstrated by the diversity of our employers, performers, and fans worldwide. I guess they have to say that.
What else are they going to say?
You know, they're protecting their brand. But an hour later, Hogan was forced to issue an apology. And some of what he said was, "This is not who I am. I believe very strongly that every person in the world is important and should not be treated differently based on race, gender, orientation, religious beliefs, or otherwise. I am disappointed with myself that I used language that is offensive and inconsistent with my own beliefs." That's an interesting apology.
It is.
You know. So then WWE.com began removing Hogan's images and all references to him from the Hall of Fame page and all of their merchandise, all of his merchandise from their web shops. There are still references to Hogan regarding the upcoming WWE Australian tour, which Hogan was scheduled to take part in as a general manager. But if you try to access this page, you can't. It's blocked.
I see. So on the Glory Days hotline is a physician who treated many of the WWE wrestlers, including Hogan, during their heyday in the 1980s, including some of the more memorable WrestleMania events held at Nassau Coliseum and Madison Square Garden. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Stu Horowitz.
Dr. Horowitz, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Hey, long time no see there, Doc. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I know Paul told me he was talking to you yesterday. I guess he was in the office there. I mean, I can't divulge
Full
too
disclosure,
much HIPAA information.
HIPAA you can't discuss. But last week we talked about my bloody nose, and thanks to Dr. Horowitz, I haven't had one since.
That's nice.
Although I have my bloody nose rag with me just in case today. So, Doc, you know, I was surprised yesterday, and I know every time I see you, you ask me, you know, oh, how's Bruce? And I know you guys have a history too. You played sports together and stuff.
Played softball and basketball.
But I had no idea that you knew these wrestling guys. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, in the early days, in the 80s and 90s, I was friendly with the orthopedist, Dr. Arnold Illman. And Dr. Illman took me along with him. He was the doctor for the wrestlers in WWF. So he took me with him, and we went down to the Madison Square Garden and Nassau Coliseum, and we would do checkups on the wrestlers in the locker room before the matches, which was very fun. We checked their heart, lungs, blood pressure. And I basically did it because my kids loved wrestling, and they got to meet the wrestlers. I grew up with my grandparents following wrestling, and my son and daughter followed wrestling with me. And their major hero in the days was Hulk Hogan, interestingly enough. So when they used to follow me into the locker room, they got to meet the Hulk Hogan, and later on wrestlers like The Rock and Shawn Michaels, and they got to meet all the wrestlers. So it was a very fun experience, and most of the wrestlers were great, and it was interesting.
You know, they always talk about how, you know, wrestling is staged and whatever. It is entertainment, that's obvious. But these guys are in incredible physical shape, aren't they?
Absolutely in great shape, and there were many serious injuries. Besides that, I mean, though, you know, it was acted out, they got hurt. A lot of them got seriously injured, and I witnessed a lot of that. And but they were all in great condition, absolutely.
What was your, I mean, I know you said you had some, obviously you had contact with Hulk Hogan. And I know, it must have hit you when you read about this. What was your first impression when you heard this yesterday?
Actually, my son texted it to me, and it was very disappointing because you have to realize in these days, Hulk Hogan was a legend and an incredible hero to all the young kids. And they loved him. I mean, I can still remember my kids having the toothbrushes with Hulk Hogan, the vitamins, as Hulk Hogan said. And, even as I showed the girls in the office, because they all grew up with Hulk Hogan. So everybody loved him and adored him. As a matter of fact, some of the girls working yesterday said, "Oh, I don't like him anymore." And I mean, this will definitely hurt his legacy. And it's interesting. The first thing that came to my mind was almost similar to the Bill Cosby situation, where
Exactly.
everybody adored Bill Cosby from his shows and his cartoons. And then they heard what's going on with him, and all of a sudden people become disappointed in their heroes.
And Bill Cosby's a good example of this because he was he was a hero of mine, so to speak. I mean, he's a comedy legend. I bought my first comedy album that I bought was Wonderfulness.
Oh yeah, not Why Is There Air?
No, not that one. I bought Wonderfulness and To My Brother Russell, Whom I Slept With. Those are the first two comedy albums I ever bought.
Well, he slept with. There you go, man. Maybe he's a little Freudian there.
But you know what? I guess, I don't know if we put these people up on a pedestal too high, but the Cosby situation is a little different because of the legalities involved. But with Hulk Hogan, it just doesn't seem, and I'm not saying that it doesn't seem fair, but this guy's having a private, granted, he's committing adultery, but he's having a private conversation with somebody. And it reminds us, Dr. Horowitz, Bruce and I were talking before, kind of about like the Donald Silver thing from the NBA last year, where it was private conversation. And I understand that, racist comments are not good in any form. But man, it's a private conversation.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that you or I or anybody would survive anything if all of our private conversations ever became public.
100%. Absolutely agree. And it's interesting. My son came over this morning because his major idol was Hulk Hogan. So what do you think about it, Jeff?
Well, I'll never say my prayers and take my vitamins again after this.
But will you still be brushing your teeth?
I think I'll keep that up.
I hope so.
I mean, it seems to be like any kind of 90s icon you're getting disillusioned with them nowadays, whether it's Bill Cosby or Michael Jackson or Hulk Hogan. It's like the era of getting disillusioned with them.
And it's happening with our sports heroes too, with the being tainted with drugs. Look at, not that Alex Rodriguez was ever the most popular guy in the league before, but he became a pariah even to the fans that had looked at him and backed him and done the whole thing because he was cheating and because of steroids and stuff.
Yeah. And WWE has to, obviously make the move. That's like the go-to move for any corporation. Because from a PR standpoint, the racist thing is the worst marketing thing you could have now. So,
but how could you?
The go-to move for any corporation that has a racist in it.
But I just don't. I understand you firing him from his job as your spokesperson, and in any type of advertisement. But you go ahead and you erase the fact that he ever existed?
Yeah.
That I can't understand.
I don't think that'll last. I think that's the initial reaction, but I can't imagine they're going to erase Hulk Hogan from wrestling. It's kind of impossible, I would think.
Well, they did it pretty quickly from the website.
Yeah.
I can understand maybe, getting rid of his merchandise, no longer making his merchandise available on their website. That I could understand. But to just make believe he didn't exist, I can't understand.
That sounds like what the Russians did, right? They rewrite history.
They're going to erase the first 10 WrestleManias. I doubt that will last.
Right. It's like sometimes when the NCAA puts a school under sanctions and they strip them of their title, who's going to forget, like what happened with Penn State?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They stripped him.
Right.
Who's going to forget Joe Paterno and how great Penn State was? Just because you tell me that their records don't count anymore, and that I don't know. It seems to be such a terrible overreaction. This guy did not abuse children. He did not beat his wife, although he cheated on her. But I don't know.
He didn't drug women and have
He
sex
didn't
with
drug
them.
women and have sex with them, no.
Right. I think just racial tensions are so high with everything lately that the go-to reaction for any corporation is to just cut ties with anything racist whatsoever.
But the
But
thing
I got
is,
it to laugh.
well,
It's
yeah,
too much a
the
part
thing
of what
is,
made them big.
is it because as a society we've become so PC that everybody is waiting for you to say the wrong thing so that you said the wrong thing, now you're immediately fired. You're done. Your entire life's work is wiped out.
Unless you're Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Then you can say whatever you want to say, man. Who's going to fire him? He's fired everybody.
Donald Trump, right away. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe if Donald Trump gets elected, all this PC stuff goes away. The country takes on the image of their president. Maybe all of a sudden things will just open up again.
We'll see.
Comedians are forced to apologize for things they say. They're comedians. That's what they get paid for.
They're supposed to offend people, right?
That's what, like, with the Roseanne Barr thing. Remember when she
grabbed her crotch,
at the national anthem and she couldn't
Yeah.
sing?
Yeah.
You hired Roseanne Barr to
What did
sing
you
the national
expect?
anthem. Yeah, what did you expect she was going to be? Kate Smith?
Yep. So you were in a locker room, I guess, when your dad was taking care of these guys. What's your fondest memory of any of the wrestlers, and who sticks out in your mind?
In terms of the friendliest? of
Yeah.
them? I mean, I remember even more recent than that. More recent memory was people like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin were a lot friendlier than I thought they would be. I mean, they were just. Yeah, that's true. Booker T was also a lot of fun.
Booker T. He had some very nasty things to say about Booker T.
I know. I heard some of those audios.
Yeah.
But,
it was terrible.
Yeah, it's just very surprising. I mean, I think that whole era was like a complete different attitude in terms of the way society viewed language, and also in terms of the way they hyped celebrities up. It was just like you were saying before. It was a different level of, idolizing people and making them kind of too good to be true. So you just saw celebrities differently back then. Now it's more of a time of like breaking them down.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm not saying that it's a witch hunt, but man, I guess it started with that guy. What was the guy who was the guy who took the bets? Remember, he got in trouble for calling somebody saying that black athletes were bred.
Oh,
Jimmy the Greek.
Yeah, Jimmy the Greek.
Jimmy
yeah,
the Greek,
yeah.
right? He lost his job. Then Howard Cosell got in trouble for saying, "Look at that little monkey go." You know what I mean? It's just like you're almost afraid to say things on the air.
And that's why I'm not saying too much today.
No, we could say anything we want, right, Chuck?
Yeah,
we can't. Well, were there any wrestlers that that just didn't go along with it, so to speak?
You mean that we're not? What do you mean, like not?
That weren't nice.
Yeah, Ric Flair was pretty cold.
Oh,
I
yeah?
met him backstage.
Well,
There were a
how
few
old?
of them.
How old were you at the time when your dad was taking you?
I mean, he took this when we were younger, but also I think the more recent ones that I remember is when we were like more in the teenage years. So like I was maybe 13 or 14,
Oh, wow.
something like that.
You must have really had a smile on your face.
It was interesting. It was interesting to see it backstage. Actually, the nicest ones were also when we were younger. We met people like Shawn Michaels backstage, and they were goofing around with each other. That's when you really saw kind of not so much, I guess, the fakeness of it, but that they were all kind of goofing around and friendly backstage. Because you see these two rivals that are ready to tear each other to pieces in the ring and talking trash to each other on the microphones, and then backstage they were playing pranks on one another and like joking around with one another. So that was kind of interesting. As a kid, to see that was like, whoa,
How
a little
about
bit jarring.
How about Vince McMahon? Did you ever get to meet Vince McMahon?
He was nice. He was very nice. Yeah, he took pictures with us.
You know, they say he rules with an iron fist.
Yeah, he luckily I didn't see that. He didn't show that to fans that much. He was pretty nice when we met him.
Well, you know, they're very. He's very good with his brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's protective of the WWE brand, and if you want to leave the WWE, that's fine, but you can't take your name with you.
Really?
You know what I mean? They give you a name, and that's it. That's property of the WWE. You want to be a wrestler in some other federation, you better get yourself another name, because you can't use Hulk Hogan. You wouldn't be able to use Hulk Hogan unless you were still part of the WWE, because they own it. They own their brand, and it's.
Well, didn't he yo-yoed back and forth between different wrestling factions? I mean, different companies.
Yes.
From WCW to.
But they said
NWA.
that's where he came up with the Hulkster.
Right.
Because he couldn't be called.
What would your name be if you were a wrestler?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about that?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on. When you were 13 years old, you didn't think of yourself as a wrestler?
I'm not sure.
Well, I got to tell you, you know, I was knowing we were going to talk about this on the show. I found a website that basically you put in your name and it generates a name for you, a wrestling name.
Oh, okay. So what do you got?
Okay, there you go.
So Dr. Horowitz would have been Grizzly Rock. Okay?
Grizzly Rock.
All right. Bonnie would have been
Great.
Red
That's a good wrestling
Valkyrie.
name.
Grizzly.
I was going to be Kid Predator, but you got the worst one here,
What I
man.
get?
Supersonic Coward.
Oh wow.
You know what? That would have been me, because I would have gotten into the ring with these guys that were 8 times bigger than me, and I would have been running like a little girl.
Eric,
Right.
you would have
That's
been
what my Indian name would be.
Butch
Runs
Goblin.
like girl.
Eric was Butch Goblin, and Chuck was Butch Blade.
Butch Blade. Oh wow! All right, we're almost out of time here. Put Grizzly back on the phone. Thanks for
All
talking
right,
to
hold
us,
on 1 second.
Yeah.
That's my new name.
Dr. Grizzly.
That's my new name, guys.
There you go.
Hey Doc, thanks for taking the time to hang out with us this morning.
Thanks for calling. It's appreciated. Bruce, great to speak with you. We got to get together one
Same
day.
here, yeah. I was wondering if you see any of the old guys like Kapusta or Axelrod or
Yeah, I
Grumback.
see Tom. Give me a call. You got my number. I'll have Tom come out.
I'll get it from Paul. Yeah. All right. Sounds great.
You know what? I'll do Donald Trump, Doc. I'm going to put your number on the air right now.
Then I'll have to smash my phone into the wall.
All right, Doc. Thanks. Good luck, and we'll talk.
Thank you. Stay well. Take care.
All right,
Thanks.
that is Dr. Stu Horowitz and his son. You know what? I didn't get his son's name.
Yeah, I know.
We got to get his wrestler name next time.
Butch Blade.
Butch Blade.
Well, actually, Grizzly Rock. Okay. All right.
Maybe he's Grizzly Rock. Maybe he's Grizzly Stone.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know.
Pebbles. All right, let's take another break here on the Glory Day Show. When we get back, we'll bring you a few stories in our Did You Hear About segment. Stay with us. You watch the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco, only on the Enravio TV network. We're coming right back. Thanks again, Doc. That was great.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Enravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Enravio.com. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
You're doing it.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the InRavio TV network. If you're a sports fan, you can always turn to ESPN or SNY and get the latest scores and highlights. One thing we pride ourselves on here on Glory Days is providing you with information you may not have heard anywhere else. We call this segment, Did You Hear About?
And we don't have.
Oh, we don't have the sweeper. Okay. All right.
Professional radio DJs.
All right.
All righty. The last time we saw Aussie golfer Robert Allenby, he was sitting on a curb in Honolulu, mumbling to himself and licking numerous wounds. Even though nobody actually believed the story he concocted about being kidnapped, beaten, and left for dead, he stuck to it. He refused to give in to public opinion and all the evidence that pointed to him drinking himself blind and stumbling into a cement wall. Well, this really hasn't been a good year for Allenby. He's made the cut in only 7 of 21 tournaments he's entered since the incident and banked just $265,000 all year. And
Just $265,000.
right, well, for a golfer, that's not a lot. And he's in danger of losing his PGA Tour exempt status next year, unless he picks up his game the rest of the season. But he made things a lot worse for himself, and especially his caddy this week at the RBC Canadian Open. The debacle began on just the 4th hole he played on Thursday, an innocent-looking par 5. Allenby had already incurred a penalty stroke off the tee after hitting the ball out of bounds, and as he approached his 4th shot, about 150 yards from the flag, his caddy, Mick Middlemoe, called for an 8-iron, and Allenby disagreed with him, and he's been his caddy all year, and he wanted to shoot a 7-iron to carry the creek in front of the green. Middlemoe insisted on the 8, so Allenby deferred to his caddy, and when the shot got caught in a gust of wind, it blew backwards into the creek. Allenby finished the hole with a triple bogey, and then he started the fireworks. He told Middlemoe, you know, this happens every week. Oh, I need an Australian accent. This has happened for like the last 3, 4, or 5 months. We keep making bad mistakes, and you're not helping me in these circumstances. Then he told me I could go F myself.
Wow.
That's what he said. So Allenby claimed that the argument had gotten a little more heated and finally told him, that's it, you're sacked. I will never have you caddy again. And that made for a very unpleasant next 5 holes. Allenby caught at a 43 at the turn, and Middlemoe dumped his bag and walked off. Allenby went on and on about how Middlemoe said some smart-ass remark to him and got in his face and threatened him, so he told him to go. My nerves have been rattled and I'm in shock. And of course, Middlemoe had a slightly different take on the events. He claims that after they had a discussion about the club and Allenby put his ball in the drink, he basically lost his mind, which sounds kind of exactly what might have happened. Massimo said, I've been called a bad caddy, but when the personal insults come in and you're being called a fat so-and-so, I get a little peeved.
At least he didn't call him the N-word.
He didn't call him the N-word. The third time he said it, I walked up and basically said, I dare you to say that to me again. And I kept thinking about that scene from Bull Durham when he's having the argument with the umpire. Anyway, Allenby wouldn't take the bait, but Middlemoe told him that after that hole, he was done. And Allenby shot back that he would never have him back anyway. Middlemoe said that he had been putting up for this for a long time, and he's not the first caddy to walk off a golf course on Allenby. He's actually the 4th.
That's unbelievable.
I'm not exactly in an elite club, he said. Allenby said that this is the worst incident he has ever witnessed in a player, and that Middle Mo threatened him as he walked off, claiming to be waiting for him in the car park. I guess that's where they park their cars.
I guess so.
But Allenby still had 9 holes to play, and professional golfers are not allowed to play a PGA event without a caddy. So Allenby found a Canadian school teacher who had skipped work that day that volunteered to carry his bag for the rest of the round. Tom Frazier said that, "I thought it was kind of odd. I raised my hand and said, 'I'll carry your clubs.' I thought it was a long shot, but I'd offer my services." Frazier said that Allenby thanked him for helping out and gave him a lifetime of experience. But then he returned to his job as principal of Archeron College, which is at the Kingston Penitentiary.
Penitentiary? Wow.
Yeah, so, did you know that you could go to jail and become a college graduate at the same time?
You know, I didn't know that.
Canada, what a country. Allenby finished around shooting 83 and then promptly withdrew from the tournament. You know, I just love this guy.
He's a character.
He is a character of characters so far this year, anyway.
Yeah. So I wonder how much did he give him a tip? Did he pay him?
Well, that's what I was wondering. He didn't say he paid him.
Yeah.
But you know, if you miss the cut, you don't get any money.
Okay.
And they actually.
I guess he didn't make the cut, huh?
No. He withdrew.
He can still tip the guy, though, can he?
Yeah, but you know what?
I mean,
those golfers,
that's proper decorum. They're
those
cheap.
professional golfers, well, they have to pay their way. They don't pay for their hotel or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the PGA doesn't pay for their travel expenses.
You think the teacher was afraid to give him a club selection? You know?
I would have been. All right.
All right. Story number 2. It never rains in Southern California. Torrential rains forced the postponement of not 1, but 2 baseball games in drought-stricken Southern California last weekend as the residual effects of Tropical Storm Dolores were felt on Sunday. In San Diego, the Padres-Rocky game was postponed in the top of the 5th, with the Rockies leading 1-0. It's the first rainout in San Diego's Petco Park since 2006. The Rockies, though they are used to it, they lead the league in the most games delayed by rain. It was only the 6th rain delay in the 11-year history of Petco Park and the first ever in July.
6 rainouts in 11 years.
Unbelievable. Apparently, the crowd was so unsure what to do during the rare rain delay, so they took off their shirts off and danced in the aisles. But it's a second rain delay this season in Petco Park. And up from the interstate, the Anaheim Angels had gone 1,609 consecutive games without a rainout. But the ESPN game Sunday night with the Red Sox was postponed. The postponement was the first in over 20 years since June of 1995. It was just the 16th time in their 55-year history that a home game was rained out. Of the previous 15 rainouts, 14 of them came in either April or September. As a matter of fact, they haven't even had a rain delay in 359 games dating back to April of 2011. Major League Baseball waited for 2.5 hours before calling the game. They always do that. That's crazy.
Well, could you imagine? You know how, obviously you know the weather in Southern California. You've traveled there, and I know I've traveled there. It's the greatest place.
It is. You know what's that song by Albert Hammond? It never rains in Southern California.
It pours, man, it pours.
That's right. My friend Kate, she's out on the West Coast, and she was out there. So I mean, you figure if there's one thing you're planning on vacation, you can always plan on good weather if you're going to Southern California.
Yeah,
but she was out there this week. So
she was out there during the rain?
Yeah. And she's in San Francisco
now. They have
now.
all those terrible droughts and things that. Again, I mean, they also have to worry about falling off the face of the earth with an earthquake.
Yeah.
But the droughts and the fires, but the weather is really good.
Especially Southern California, San Diego. What a beautiful place. And it's not really hot, you know?
No, that time we went to San Diego was great.
It was beautiful.
And I went to San Diego last year.
Right.
For the Siemens convention, and it was fantastic in the middle. It was 72 degrees in the middle of August.
Yeah.
I loved it.
One more story?
At least one more.
All right.
Remember when Joe Namath wore white cleats in an NFL game for the first time? And remember Houston Oilers wide receiver Willie White Shoes Johnson?
Yep.
Okay, that's their pictures up there. Well, there's a new member to the White Shoes Club. Yankees outfielder Brett Gardner was channeling his inner Joe Namath as he donned a pair of pure white baseball cleats on Sunday for the Yankees. According to Major League Baseball rules, however, uniforms have to comply with certain rules regarding colors. And since Gardner was the only Yankee wearing completely white spikes, he could face discipline from baseball's fashion police. Gardner said it was just a one-time thing because starting pitcher CC Sabathia was kind of excited about seeing them in his locker, and he asked them to wear them. Even though Gardner made a great play in the outfield with the white cleats on, and he scored the tying run in the Yankees' win, he said it had nothing to do with the cleats. And although there is a chance that he might get fined, he's not worried. CC Sabathia said because it was his idea, he would pay the fine for Gardner.
That's a great teammate.
You know, and do you think it really matters in a baseball game whether you're wearing white cleats or not?
It doesn't, but some of these rules they have are just ridiculous, and that's just one more of them.
I can understand that you all have to wear the same uniform. With the teams these days, with all the different combinations and things like that, I understand that, but you really care what the shoes are?
I don't get it.
There's so many other things that's wrong with baseball's image.
Yeah, and white shoes is not one of them.
White shoes should not be one of them. All right, we got time for one more story, right?
Okay.
We got time for another story.
Okay, during the now infamous Deflategate AFC Championship game between the Patriots and the Colts back in January, LeGarrette Blount scored a meaningless TD in the third quarter of the eventual 45-7 blowout. His teammate, Brandon LaFell, gave LeBlount's TD ball to a friend, Laura Nichols. Nichols then decided to see if she could sell it at an auction. Originally, the ball was expected to fetch over $100,000, but on Saturday, the 6-month anniversary of the infamous game, the ball sold for considerably less, $43,740. It now ranks as the highest amount ever paid for a football. The ball was part of the rotation of footballs that were used in the Patriots game. And although it can never be known how often it was, if at all, used, the ball was used during the first half of the game. All the Patriots games balls were reinflated at the beginning of the second half. Last year, a ball used in a 1916 college football game, which was the most lopsided college football game in history, sold for $40,338. The game was won by Georgia Tech over Cumberland, 220-0.
Yeah, they missed the extra point.
I guess they did. Prices for footballs over $20,000 are rare. A Tom Brady game-used ball from this year's Super Bowl was sold for $4,945. Well, that was one properly inflated ball, I guess.
I don't know. Could you imagine getting $43,000 for a football because it was in that Deflategate? There's 12 of those balls. What happened to the other 11?
I don't know. And how can you, we talked about it with baseball, I guess, with A-Rod hitting that home run, basically that they're all logged where they have a serial number on them. Do these have serial numbers on them? I guess they must, right?
I don't know. The thing is, she was given the ball by somebody else.
Yep.
And
it was the chain of custody there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But somebody bought it. Again, you could say what you want about memorabilia and how much a ball is worth or whatever, but it ain't worth squat if nobody will actually write the check.
Yep.
But
as they say, a sucker is born every minute, right?
That's exactly right. All righty then. We are almost out of time here at the Glory Day Show. We'll take a break and then we'll wrap up for the weekend. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco, only on the Enravio TV network. Coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco here on the InRavio TV network. So what did we learn today?
Well, I learned that my pro wrestling name would be Kid Predator.
Kid Predator. And this is a lot more fun than you might think. I mean, you have a couple of names here, the worst names in the WWE now.
Yeah, I don't know. The one that really stuck in my mind was who was listed at number 2, Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler sounds like a porn star.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Dirk Diggler.
I like it.
But I guess it's cool. I now know what my name is.
Yep.
Supersonic Coward. That would be me. You know what? I bet you I would be a popular wrestler, though.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, because everybody would, I'd be this little fat guy in the wrestling ring who big giant guys would try and beat.
Would you wear a thong?
Well, that would be a vision, wouldn't it?
You're a coward. You're supersonic coward, man.
Would I have a C on? Would I wear a cape? That's the issue. Although I'm definitely not fast.
Yeah, that's true.
But I thought it was funny that if you go to that website, www.wrestlingname.com, put in your name and...
Well, and I wanted to check out its authenticity, so to speak, okay? So I put in the name Terry Bollea, who we reported earlier. His name is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And you know what name came up?
What?
Hulk Hogan.
The fix is in. I guess they know all the wrestlers' real names.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's some sort of a random thing that generates them, or is like that generates the name based on the cadence of your name or what your name means.
That's interesting because when I put in Chuck's name and I put in Eric's name, the first name for both of those wrestlers came up Butch. I don't know why that is. What's that?
What does that tell you?
I don't know. I have to do more research on this.
Sometimes you find these things on Facebook that say, what would your this name be? And usually it's some sort of a combination of the first letter of your first name and the last letter or something. And so I'm wondering if this is the same, what would it be, an algorithm?
Yes, I think that's a good way of putting it.
That's a good word.
Yep.
Algorithm.
Guess we also learned that the Mets are not ready to make that big move yet. They're making some incremental moves right now.
No. They're not quite ready. But you know what? Let's see what happens. You know what I think would be great for them if they could? Get Cespedes.
You think they could do that?
If they could get Cespedes, I'm telling you, I saw this guy during the home run derby. He was hitting it into the upper deck in left field.
That's a shot, man.
And he hit the winning home run for the home run derby. He hit it not only to center field, he hit it over the hat.
Okay. Where the apple is.
But he hit it over the apple and behind
Through the woods.
and the wall on a
Jeez,
fly.
Man.
That's
So
a guy
is he
who's
available
not-
or what?
Well, they're talking about him. He's one of the guys. Justin Upton is another guy, and Tulowitzki. They're talking about that those are 3 impact bats that they can make. And out of all of them, I'd take Cespedes because he...
Well, he's the youngest out of them all, right?
And not only is he the youngest, but he's probably the better outfielder. But that's a guy who's not intimidated at all by Citi Field.
Yeah. Or by New York in general, I guess.
Yeah. And you know who I'd include in the train? Daniel Murphy.
Yeah.
Because right now...
I mean, I don't think we can say that any position player is off the table. We talked about that last week.
But you know what? Right now they have a problem with Murphy. He can't play the field, which we knew anyway.
Yeah.
But now what are you going to do? Put him at second base now that you have a third baseman, Uribe? and then you're going to put Flores back at short. You're right back to that same
No,
defensive
Flores has got to
problem you
stay
had.
at second.
So then what do you do, Murphy? Play him at first. I'd play him at first and sit Duda down.
You could do that.
You know, although Murphy, since he came back from the injury, hasn't really been.
Well, who has? I mean, nobody on the Mets is playing good baseball right now.
Anyway, I learned 2 other things.
Okay.
Never make a sex tape ever. 'Cause
Have you ever done that?
made a sex tape? No.
Okay, all right. All right. Good answer.
Trust me, I don't even want to see that.
I can't say I've ever been tempted. I tell you that.
You
know?
haven't ever been tempted?
No, I don't know.
Well, you know what? When we were young,
Yeah,
there was no option.
that's true.
You know what I mean? If all the option was just to sit the phone on the top of the dresser, you never know what would have happened.
I don't know. In this day and age, you know, people just don't realize that, you know, you have to be careful with what you say.
But you know what? I can understand our generation not understanding the implications of social media.
Yeah.
Because we didn't grow up with social media. So if we did something stupid and it ended up on social media, you can kind of chalk it up to, oh, you know, well, they didn't realize it would happen. But kids today know that that's going to happen because they're the one, they grew up with it. I don't know.
Yep.
I also realized that I will never play golf with Robert Allenby.
I think he'd be a hoot,
People
man.
like you know what? He might be fun to play
I
golf.
think he'd be great
He's
to
certainly
play
going to
with.
be fun to
You know what?
hang out with after the round
And you
of
know
golf
what?
is over.
I might be able to beat that guy.
Your brother might be able. He's shot an 83,
I shouldn't say
right?
me. Yeah, that's right.
Right?
I
Your
shouldn't
brother's
say
a
me.
pretty good golfer. He's shot in the 80s before.
He has. He has.
What are you going to do? All righty. I think we're done.
Sounds good.
Thanks to our producers, Kyle. No, Kyle Melnick's not here today. Where was Kyle today? Eric McAuliffe was here today, and of course the lovely and talented Bonnie Schultz for all the hard work they do in making us look so good out here. And thanks to Dr. Grizzly Rock, Stu Horowitz, for helping us out today.
And his son,
and
who
his
we
son,
don't know
who
his
we
name.
forgot to ask what his name is.
We
so
know
I'm
his
so
last name is
sorry.
Horowitz.
Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week. And of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. Don't forget, check out the Glory Days on Demand page on www.inradio.com to watch any of our past shows or any of the other great shows on the InRadio TV network. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you next time.